Martin fans, you've come to the right place because today we are laying it down. We are doing the ultimate D-18 comparison. So you want to make sure you stick around to check it all out. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos. If you want to support the channel, you can visit our spring store link below for custom swag and check out our podcast, the Fretboard Confessional, which I am going to make Cooper do this week.
So let's get into some guitars.
So today we are looking at D-18s. And actually, I wanted to do this comparison for a while. The fact of the matter is, we don't often have D-18s in stock because they sell so quickly.
Very true.
It is one of the, for me, the best guitars Martin makes.
Yeah.
I think I've kind of gone around the fence a few times. What is my next guitar? I think the decision is I'm getting a D-18. So maybe this is a bit of a selfish video. It's my buyer's guide. Which D-18 do I want? Maybe you're in that same boat. So there are a number of D-18s that are available through Martin now. We've decided we're going to take a look at 4 of them to kind of help you decide what is the best guitar for you, the best bang for your buck, or whether or not maybe that kind of heirloom quality, authentic is really worth it. Is the juice worth the squeeze, so to speak?
Yeah.
So I've got a D-18 standard. You have?
I got the authentic. Yeah.
The authentic. But we're also comparing, if we may, this, which is the D-18 Modern Deluxe, and
D-18 Street Master.
Street Legend.
Oh.
Excuse you.
Yeesh.
Oh, you're going to get some emails from some
sorry,
people at Martin.
Jerry, I apologize.
Jerry, I'm trying to keep him in line.
I love the Street Legend. Okay.
It's
a
legend.
Street Legend.
In the making.
Thank you for calling me on that. Now, we'll get back to that one. When you think D-18, Dreadnought, Spruce Mahogany, what else do you think?
Flat picking, bluegrass. Recently, Brian Sutton, because I'm doing lessons and that's all he's ever playing is a D-18.
Street Legend.
Street Legend.
He's a legend on the streets. Yeah, so it's pretty hard to beat the standard, and I think that you should go through, even though most people probably know what the scoop is, you should tell them what you got over there.
So I like the D-18, in fact, the whole 18 line kind of stands out for me because if you've been watching this channel or paying attention to Martin for any number of years, you know that in 2018, they reimagined the entire standard lineup. But before they did, the 18 series beat them to the punch, so to speak. It was the first ones to get that treatment all the way back in 2013, and in part because of that, it very quickly found a place in my heart. The 0018s, the D-18s in particular, I have really liked because it got all of these treatments. But the D-18 is just a great guitar. It is a dreadnought. It features a spruce top with mahogany, genuine Honduran mahogany. We have to say that nowadays, back and sides. Like all of the other guitars in the standard series, this one features a toned top. It has scalloped bracing. You have your ebony bridge and fingerboard. It has the 1 3/4 inch nut width with a low oval profile with a modern performance taper. I get it all right so far, right?
Modified low oval high performance
taper. There you go.
Street Legend.
Open gear, butterbean style tuners, and the classic Martin script up on the headstock. Very simple dot inlays on there. It is a very straightforward guitar. There's no herringbone, there's no abalone. What it is a sound monster. So out of this, you get a lot of volume because it's a dreadnought. The combination of spruce and mahogany gives you a nice warm mid-range and bright attack that is punchy and kind of gets out of the way. So it gets in, it gets out. It doesn't have a lot of that overtones and sustain from rosewood, which is why it's such a great flat picking guitar, because you can just lay into it and you get so much volume from a mahogany guitar. Remember in a video Jason Isbell was talking about, he always gravitated to mahogany acoustics because they were always so loud. Yeah. And so you just get a lot of volume, a lot of boom, and really great articulation without it ever getting muddy, no matter how fast you play on this guitar.
Yeah.
And it's a very comfortable, very just strong guitar to have in your lineup. Everything else here is kind of a variation on that theme.
Yeah.
Either new or old or just a different take on this thing.
Yeah.
So what should we go to next?
Well, I think we should go to some sounds on that one because even though this is not the least expensive guitar that we're going to show, it's
kind
the
of the
standard.
standard.
We're going to do that as the baseline and then talk about these other ones so at least you have some to go off of. So D-18 standard, take a listen.
Okay, so the D-18 standard you just heard. If you go down just a little bit in price, this new model, which is actually kind of interesting, is available, and it is the D-18 Street Legend. So spec on this effectively is very similar to the specifications of the standard, only it's not a gloss nitro finish. It's a satin finish. It has this print aging treatment that is done. So the way all of this wear is done, which is based upon examples that are in the Martin Museum, is through a kind of a print process when they're going to color the top. So that's how that's done, which is a very kind of interesting thing because it's smooth. There's no raise into it. You can't really knock anything off.
But it is also like such a thin satin finish, which I think is the best thing that this guitar has going for it. It's super light. Even on the neck, it's more of kind of like an open pore type thing. This is definitely the lightest guitar that we have here today, which probably attracts a lot of people. There is another D-18 that we don't have today that is kind of in line, that is the D-18 Satin. And it's kind of in between these two, I guess. It's a little, little lower in price than a standard D-18. Satin, nitro finish, that's pretty much the only difference. We only have the D-28 version right now, but this is a nice kind of stand-in as well. If you like the aged look, if you like the Street Masters, which is 15 and 16 series, they brought that kind of treatment. Obviously, they would not have done this on the D-18 and D-28 unless there was some demand for it from people digging the Street Masters. But this guitar, same tone wood pairing, same bracing, just looks like Kurt Cobain's guitar, and but
does not smell like Kurt Cobain's
It does not smell like Kurt Cobain's guitar, but
it's got aged hardware on it too, which is interesting. That's not printed.
They don't print on today's, this will make you a legend in the streets, and maybe in the sheets as well. So let's take a listen to the Street Legend.
Okay, so going from the standard to the street legend, most of your specs outside of the finish are pretty much going to be the same. Now that you move up to the modern deluxe, instead of going down a few $100s in price, you go up by about $1,000.
Yeah.
And that gives you, again, the same basic formula of a D-18, but with the modern deluxe appointments. So we've got a torrefied spruce top instead of just a standard Sitka spruce top like you have on the standard. I'm sorry, VTS. VTS, which is Vintage Tone System, which is a torrefaction system for the top of the
Very
bracing.
torrefied spruce.
Very torrefied.
Yeah.
Very terrified spruce.
Yeah.
I would be if someone put me in the oven. So you've got a VTS top. You've got wood binding instead of the faux tortoiseshell that you have on the standard and the street legend. I almost did it. So we tend to prefer wood bindings. We've said that a few times. So rosewood binding on here. You've got your Cooper's favorite liquid metal bridge pins.
Love the liquid metal.
And underneath there is a carbon fiber bridge plate, which is really great. Coming up on the neck, you have your gold frets. Can't forget the gold frets too, Cooper. And then same neck width. The profile's a little bit different on the Modern Deluxe.
Vintage Deluxe neck profile on the Modern Deluxe.
Yep. And then you've got your gold open gear tuners, and that script logo is done in abalone. So it really is, again, it's literally taking that standard D-18 and making a more modern, fancier version of it for just a little bit more money.
So something interesting, did you mention the bracing while I was zoning out on this guitar?
I mentioned that it was very terrified.
Very terrified. This is an interesting distinction between that one and the next one we're going to show you. The braces are attached to the top on this guitar with protein glue.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they even call it a different thing. They call it protein glue versus another guitar that we're going to show you. Just put a pin in that. But light top, you know, VTS, resonant. You got the animal protein glue, and then the super light, you know, bridge plate with the, you gotta have the liquid metal to get the tone going.
Get that red dot.
This one happens to come with electronics in it already, which I feel like we see more often in the Modern Deluxe stuff, because I don't know if there's a D-18E on the price list.
I don't think so. But it might be one of those that you can order. So if you don't know, now you know. But on the Martin website, there are certain models in the standard series that you can add electronics to, and then some that you can't. Like you can get an OM28E, but not a 00028E. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. However, we can put electronics in any of them. Side note, bear in mind that bracing on certain guitars works better with some pickups than others.
True story.
We can talk about that on the podcast someday. But yeah, D-18E, Modern Deluxe, also available, non-E, we have both, but really changing up the game versus the first two.
You just glossed over something I want to bring everyone back to. We have both. Okay? We have both. Just want to point. Most shops don't even have a D-18 Modern Deluxe. We have both.
With our luck,
D-28 Modern Deluxes.
By the time this comes out,
we won't.
We will not have both.
But we have a really great selection of like Modern Deluxes.
Yeah.
As we were grabbing guitars this morning, I was like, oh, look at that Modern Deluxe, and that Modern Deluxe, and that Modern
It's the first time we've had most of them under one roof, which is very cool. And it helps to plan.
It does.
When you start thinking about it a year before, then you line it up right. So D-18, Modern Deluxe, let's take a listen.
And finally, coming in, complete with the mini pearl Ryman Auditorium price tag still attached, is actually one of my favorite guitars, the D-18 Authentic, that I really would love to take home.
D-18 Authentic. This is the
Aged.
aged version. There's a non-aged version.
And we have both.
We have both. So this is where, hence the name, the specs on here will be much more authentic to, say, a 1937 D-18. So VTS Adirondack top, Adirondack bracing, full hide glue construction, mahogany back and sides because it's D-18. Wildly different neck profile compared to the other three.
Nice chunky V-neck that I really like.
I really like this neck. Spoiler alert, I did spec out a Martin for myself, and I just asked him, whatever you call that neck, I want it on there, and I want it to have Adirondack top, mahogany back and sides, thin finish, which this does have. So basically, I customized my own Authentic, which I'm very excited for. I need that neck. I think they call it the full thickness 30s V or something like that. 30s full thickness V.
Nice and concise.
I need that full thickness. But yeah, so this, it's got every piece of it being upgraded. There's no carbon fiber bridge plate, and these are not liquid metal pins.
No.
But adding on the top, mahogany, great neck, thin finish. So it's kind of like what Chris and I always talk about loving, which is that kind of knockdown gloss nitro.
Like a semi-gloss
super
kind of
soft.
thing.
These are branded Waverly open gear tuners.
That are patinaed in this particular
They are
case.
patinaed, yes, but there is,
But
the
again, if you
non-aged
don't like
version.
that, we have the non-patinaed, non-aged, non-worn-out version, where even the top is still darker because it's VTS, but not like that. Yeah.
So this thing is absolutely a picker's dream.
They're so light, they're so resonant. Another thing that I think often gets lost that Martin points out when it comes to these is even the body profile is a little bit different in keeping with the historical examples that they have of these guitars. So yeah, it's as close as you can get of going back in time. And there's a lot of little things that I think matter on this that we've utilized on even some of our builds, like the long saddle. If you're going to try to put a undersaddle pickup in there, don't. Just don't. But it really does a lot for the acoustic sound of this guitar. We saw that with our Wild Grain HD28s that we did that on. The bracing and the hide glue, not animal protein glue. What's up?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
They just make a distinction, which I think is interesting. So most of this comes from us digging into spec sheets, right? And we've spec'd out some Modern Deluxes, and on the Modern Deluxe package, it shows construction and the adhesive, and then it shows bracing, and there's something in there about animal protein glue attaching braces or whatever. But I think that they use traditional, more like a modern adhesive for like the neck.
Right.
Versus over here, everything is hide glue. Which is just a great feature, I think, that we both love, and I think we both notice sort of a difference in the resonance
think it matters.
and everything.
Yeah, I really do.
And like Chris always says, your mileage may vary, because regular D-18 is an unbeatable guitar, but then when you start playing with some of the little things you can do, this is way more of modern interpretation. This is way more of a traditional interpretation. They both sound great, but these two especially sound wildly different from each other. So yeah, take a listen. 1937 D-18 Authentic Aged.
So there you have it. Cooper, you said the D-18 is unbeatable. Maybe the only thing that can beat the D-18 is a D-18.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys benefited from this comparison and kind of a walkthrough of the specifications. There is a dramatic difference in some of the pricing. What's interesting is the first three guitars are pretty close. You have the D-18 standard kind of in the middle for a few $100s less. You can get the Street Legend for about $1,000 more, I think it is. You can get the Modern Deluxe. To go authentic, it's a huge. You could buy another D-18 and then some.
Yeah.
The authentics are very expensive, and I've kind of talked about this before. If you want to understand how pricing on guitars works, it's generally this: if the things used to build the guitar are expensive and exotic, that increases the cost. If the way the guitar is built takes longer, that increases the cost. When you have both, you have an astronomically expensive guitar. But in the case of the authentics, there's definitely a lot more time that goes into reproducing a 1937 guitar effectively.
Yeah.
But even in that, there are two different price points. The aged is more expensive. Is it by about $1,000?
Something like that.
Or like $800 more?
Yeah, it's definitely not just $200, $300.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
about $800 to $1,000 more than the non-aged one. And that might be really good news to some of you because some of you might prefer the non-aged one to the aged. I like them both. They're phenomenal, phenomenal guitars. I pick up the D-18 Authentic often.
Yeah,
to play, so.
Pretty insane. And I've found that at that level with the Authentics, like every single one has the same lightness, the same resonance, and same sound. And most Martins pretty much are the same way. It's just a lot of people talk about. We had a guy in the store today that was like, I played a D-18. I might just wait for the next one so I can, because sometimes you get two that are a little different, and everything's going to be a little different. I've just found that every single Authentic that I've picked up is great in its own way. Now, if you don't know, a few years back, did a video that was D-28 comparison. That was D-28, HD-28, D-28 Modern Deluxe. I did the same demo song in this video, so if you want to make an extended comparison, you can go listen to all those. But I think it's probably due for a
revamp?
Update. Yeah, because now we got Authentics and we have Street Legends and Satins and all that stuff. And there are several more D-18s, D-28s to choose from than D-18s.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is the type of thing, usually somebody sets their mind on, I want a spruce mahogany Martin Dreadnought or a spruce rosewood Martin Dreadnought. But being able, like at the time that we do now, have all of them, play them all against each other, because a lot of times if you come to our store or any other store, you're not going to have all of them together in one place. So hopefully it's helpful a little bit, and if you want to see all kinds of different guides, now's the time to do it because we have stuff.
Yep,
so.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so let us know in the comments what you would like to see. The information of all of these is available on our website, which is
alamomusic.com.
And you can chat with us and we can help compare them. Price-wise, what you're looking at is the Street Legends, I think $23.99 as of right now, something like that. You can check the websites for the latest pricing. Normal D-18 is $27.99. This is, I think, $37.99. The non-aged version of that is just over $7,000, like $73.
Yeah.
And that's $8,399, something like that.
Something like that. Check the website, but I think that's pretty much exactly right. And, get one of these. Get one of everything. You need them all. They're different
Get one
flavors.
of those or get 4 D-18s.
Buy this,
3.5.
but then play the Street Legend on stage.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So, let us know if you liked this comparison. Let us know what else you'd like to see. Of these three, I would love to see in the comments y'all's preferences. And I think it's only fair. Cooper, do you have a preference?
Absolutely. Here's this one. But if I was as a sane person, I would get a standard.
If you were buying with your pocketbook.
If I'm buying with my money right now, I'd buy a regular D-18. it would probably be that progression. I would probably get the D-18 and then be like, I want something a little snazzier. Let's go modern deluxe. And then when I take over Alamo Music and sell the company, and I have a little cash.
To Elon Musk.
Authentic. But as you know, as I mentioned, I have my own version of this coming to me, and that's going to be the last guitar I buy for a long time because I won't be able to afford any more guitars.
I don't believe it.
There we go.
Says every guitar player ever. I'm with you. I think buying with my money, I'd probably get the D-18 Standard, and I probably will get the D-18 Standard unless something similar to it that's affordable pops up. But I'd love to have that. Good thing I work in a music store and I can play it pretty often. If you are in that ballpark with your money, I think we both recommend the Authentic. Either one. So let us know in the comments which one you would get. If you like our videos and you are not already subscribed, make sure you do that. Subscribe, turn on notifications, like them, comment, share them. We really appreciate it. We'll keep making them for you. So keep coming back and we'll see you next time.